Hey heroes, Jesse here, coming at you with another episode of Messed Up Mondays. And today's topic really isn't that new, but it is something important that I think I should talk about, and that is Rob Liefeld quitting DC Comics. Now, I'm not exactly sure exactly when it was. It's been quite a little bit of a while. Not a long while, but a little bit. And the thing is, there's a bit of a controversy behind it. And one of the things is, well, before I get into that, I want to give you my opinion of Rob Liefeld. Now, I thought his Deadpool stuff was cool. I liked the idea of Zombie Jesus webcomic. I have his work in Teen Titans when he did the 2 issues with Gail Simone, and I'm not a really big fan of his writing, honestly. His art is okay. I know there's a lot of things people complain about in the feet area, I guess. But one of the things I'm not really too fond of is his DC Comics writing. I'm not really too sure about his Marvel stuff, but as for DC, not really a big fan of his writing. See, because the thing is, when the New 52 started, he was the artist on Hawk and Dove with Sterling Gates as writer, and Sterling left at some point, and Rob took over. And then at the it canceled it after 8 issues, but DC changed a lot of stuff after the first 8 months. So one of the big things they did was they put Rob as writer on 3 different titles. I didn't think that was probably smart, but they did. So they put him on Deathstroke, Hawkman, and Grifter. Now, the thing is, on Hawkman, I never read any of it. I never read before him, and I never read after. I probably will soon or eventually, so I can't really judge it yet. But as for Grifter, I liked Nathan Edmondson's run. It was pretty good, but it kind of like dried out a little bit towards the end of his run. But when Rob got on, it got a little juiciness to it, a little bit more. It was only slightly better than it really originally was. As for Deathstroke, though, on the other hand, I loved Kyle Higgins' run. I still love his Nightwing run. And I think it was very under-promoted, under-advertised, because the stuff he was doing over there in Deathstroke was really good. Like, there's a couple of unwritten rules that people have talked about in comic books. Those being, you don't bring back Jason Todd from the dead, and you don't bring Bucky Barnes back from the dead. But people actually did those things, and honestly, the outcome, pretty freaking cool. I love Red Hood, and I love Winter Soldier. Those concepts are awesome. But there was another unwritten rule that no one actually talked about as far as I know, because I've never heard anyone talk about it. There might have been some people, but I never heard about it. So this one was, you don't bring Grant Wilson back from the dead. Now, Grant Wilson, if you don't already know, is the first Ravager, Deathstroke's son. And he died in the original first somewhat story arc. I don't know if it was the exact one, because I need to go back and read those. But it was in the 80s New Teen Titans series with Cyborg and Beast Boy and all the rest of those guys. And he died in his first mission against the Teen Titans, and Deathstroke took over, and that's what created the rivalry between Deathstroke and Nightwing and the rest of the Teen Titans since the 80s, and it's like really big thing. So his idea was, okay, we're gonna change it because the old Teen Titans don't exist in New 52. So the new story is the Midnighter from Wildstorm and Stormwatch killed him in some mission or whatever back in the past. And Grant died, and Slade has been thinking that ever since. And then in the storyline, he finds out Grant's really alive, and he's actually going for him, and there's a big thing about it, and it was really good. And but it was under-promoted, under-advertised, and turns out nobody was really watching. I mean, nobody was reading. Well, some people were, but the numbers were low, and they had to replace him, and they decided, okay, we're going to put it with Rob Liefeld, which, honestly, putting Rob Liefeld on Deathstroke is some kind of sick joke, if you ask me. because Rob Liefeld created Deadpool, which is a parody of Deathstroke, and to put him on Deathstroke doesn't sound right. Like, first of all, I love the art from Kyle Higgins' run on Deathstroke. I can't remember exactly the artist's name, but it was really good, and I liked that design because it wasn't the pre-New 2 look, but it was something new, and I loved the way it was, and it was like more armored and tough version, and made you think that Deathstroke wouldn't wear spandex. He would be wearing armor and chainmail and all that stuff to make like a real soldier would wear. And then when Rob got on it, because he was doing writing and art, and holy crap, I just couldn't look at him. It just made me. It just looked like some kind of weird like amalgam of Deathstroke and Deadpool, and I didn't like it at all. And he made it look like he was wearing spandex again, and it was horrible. And then the actual writing, oh my god. Like, he went after Lobo, and there was a lot of speculation about going into space. Now, I've only read the first 9 issues and part of number 10 of Deathstroke. The first 7 were really good. Number 8 was kind of on a downward slope because I would like to consider Kyle Higgins' run as a hill. And there's no exact peak of the hill, but you know that at some point there's a part where it descends, and you're going down the hill because you go up and you go down. Now, I'd say issue 8 is a definite example of going down because he knew he was ending it. I wouldn't say I don't say it's crap or that he dialed it in or whatever. But you could tell that he was ending it, and there was a certain feel to it. It wasn't the same as the first 7 issues. And then number 9 came, and I read it, and I couldn't keep paying attention for too long. I would always stop and pay attention to other things, and then go back to reading it. But eventually, I got through it, and then when number 10 came, and I read a few pages, and I was like, forget this. I got rid of the comic, and I haven't read it since. Now, I skimmed over number 0, and it looks pretty cool. I'm going to go back and read it again. But, so I might go back on board now that Rob's gone. But, I can't really judge the contents of the story from what I didn't read. But I know there were people talking about him going to space, and my friend Matt reviewed the comic. I think he reviewed number 9, and he gave it a bad review, and Rob freaked out on him, and there's a whole bunch of crap to that, and as far as I'm concerned, Matt was in the right and Rob was in the wrong. And it's not because Matt's my friend, but because when someone writes a bad review, it's just an opinion. It doesn't matter if hundreds of people read that review. It's just an opinion. And the fact that you would freak out over that is just plain stupid. Because there are thousands of restaurants and plays and movies and books getting reviewed all the time by websites, newspapers, whatever. But you don't see all those directors and chefs and writers getting all pissed off over one bad review. Well, maybe some do, but those ones are also included in the fact that that's just a stupid thing to do. And I have to say to Rob, that was a stupid thing you did. I'm sorry, but arguing with Matt over one review is a stupid thing to do. And even though there was that whole conversation about going into space and how I don't even want to get into it, but the fact is, I know Matt fixed his mistake, but Rob still seems like an a-hole for what he said and did. But what's past is past. So now to get into what really going on, when Rob quit, he told everyone that he quit because he's tired of fighting with his editors or whatever, because apparently a lot of the stuff he's written was changed by Editorial, and the comics we've been reading is not the same thing he wrote. So I don't know how much of that's true. It could be considered suspicious because a lot of people have been saying that his stuff has been horrible, and just for that fact, he could be copping out and be like, "Oh well, the only reason why my stuff sucks is because they're changing it, and my original stuff would have been awesome." See, that's a possibility, but I'm not saying that's actually what he's doing, because of the fact that there are other rumors about other things just like that with Editorial and other comics. Static Shock, for one, and because there was a lot of problems with that, and how they say that just about maybe 10% of what the writer was actually writing actually made it to the comic, and that and people were claiming that the comic was like being treated badly by its own creators and stuff, and it's just a clusterfuck of problems right there. But thing is, think about the Editorial stuff is, if all of this stuff is true, how far out does this go? How many comics are being filtered and moderated heavily like that? Are DC and Marvel playing favorites with writers? Are some writers getting complete creative control and super freedom for what they make? And are some of them getting moderated like that? And if they are, what would these universes be like if they weren't? I mean, what if we let every single writer have as much creative control as possible, and as long as they're not messing up continuity and keeping in sync with each other, that what would the stories actually be like? Where would we be in comic books today, stories wise? That's something to think about, and I don't know what to really say about it, because I really don't know. But I just hope that some of this stuff clears up. A lot of it, the bad things can quit happening, because, as you know, there's a reason why this show exists, and it's because messed up stuff comes all the time, and we need to make, like, I don't know if I want to put myself out of business per se for trying to get every messed up thing to go away, because we live on Earth, and humans aren't perfect, so we're gonna have this problem all the time. But the thing is, I don't know. I had a point, and I'm starting to ramble on, but the point is, see, I say it even though I don't really have a point, but I don't know. I hope that some of this stuff gets resolved, and I hope that Rob Liefeld has success in his creator-owned stuff. But yeah, and then honestly, I think it's what Frank Thierry is taking over on Deathstroke. I actually kind of wish, I don't know about Nathan Edmondson, but I actually kind of wish Kyle Higgins would go back to Deathstroke. I think that would be a great idea, but that's just me. So, anyways, I hope you guys have a great Monday, and I will catch you all next week. Don't forget to subscribe, click like, comments, all that stuff. Don't forget to leave me a comment for suggestions on what I should talk about. I know there are plenty of people out there who think there are things that are messed up that I don't even know about. So please give me suggestions, and I'll look into them, and I will address it for you. So check you guys all later. I got stuff to do.